Cloud. Yeah, we're recording. Great. So we'll start with a 5-minute, maybe 10-minute warm-up routine. Then we'll go through the form, then we'll look at the first loosening exercise. So bring your feet parallel. Should be quite familiar now, just the sense of the feeling of the weight of the body evenly spread throughout the foot, and the whole body feeling loose inside, upright, loose, and the weight of your body allowed to press down onto your whole of your foot, the ball, the outside edge, and the heel. Try to keep your lower back really loose, this whole joint through here, so the pelvis can be free to move, nice and loose, upright and relaxed. The arms are hanging, so they feel very long. You feel the weight of each arm gently tugging on the shoulder, and we'll just bounce the body. I like to close my eyes when I do this, so you can really feel inside. Feel that center line, feel from the feet right through to the crown of the head. Feel how those little jiggles in the leg make your shoulders move, make your head rock, make your lower back change. Just like settling a bag of flour. You buy a bag of flour and it looks like it's only 7/8 full, but of course it's all settled into itself, and that's what we're doing. We're just settling it. And we will fold. This is dropping the head, dropping the shoulders, keeping our weight in the same part of the feet, breathing in, pushing up with the legs, feeling the chest open, following it with the movement right to the top of the in-breath, and lightly dropping the arms behind us and the head behind us, so the whole front of the chest can stretch open, waiting for the out-breath, feeling the chest soften and close, following it with the movement, dropping the head, pulling up the pubic bone, so the pelvis rotates and the whole back is arched, the shoulders and weight of the arm dropped. That allows you to soften into the back and let the back stretch open, both longitudinally and horizontally as well. Wait for the in-breath, go at your own speed. Feel the feet pushing into the ground. Open up and drop lightly behind. Without stopping, breathing out, folding, settling, breathing in. You can see immediately we start to find a different rhythm, a rhythm of really listening to ourselves, a rhythm of going with our own timing and our own pace, listening to our body settling, listening to us slowing down. And coming back to a standing posture. We fold the knees, we fold the hips. We keep the back straight this time, but it folds forwards from the hips. The arms just hanging. Push the feet into the ground, keeping the weight in the same part of the feet. Push the fingertips up, top of the in-breath, stretch, release. Everything softens. And you come back to a standing posture with that release finishing just as you arrive in the standing posture, just as the thumbs stop. There we are, end of the out breath, fold. Breathe in, use the legs. Lift the chest, lift the crown of the head. Feel the whole stretch from the fingers to the feet. Release the legs. And release the lower back, release the abdomen, release the chest, release the shoulders. Everything finishes together. Turn to the side, all the weight on one leg. Fold. Hips and knee, just the hips and the knee. Turn back to the front and up we go. Softening inside. Once we've got the stretch, release inside and settle. And again, your own speed, your own timing. With that strong quality of listening to the sensations in your body, not just rushing through, but taking your time to slow down and listen. What do you feel when you release? Do you feel the pressure in the feet? Do you feel the alignment of the body? What does it feel like to settle? Turn, soften the hip joint to turn. Release inside the leg so you're stable and upright. Fold. Take your time. Stretch. Light stretch. Release. The stretch should be just like pulling on an elastic band. Just up slightly, the body stretches, and then gravity presses you back in. Nice standing posture. We'll put the heels together. We'll go through the form up to cross hands with some of that quality of listening to ourselves and obviously getting the moves accurate, but listening to ourselves as we move. First thing, to lift the body, to release the body, and to make it stand as if we're so soft and so released that if a strong wind would blow through the room, the whole body would just sway. Feet are planted, the head top suspended, every joint in the body is loose. And just take our time to settle. And when you're ready, we'll do it together, but in your own time, when you practice your own form, the knees bend and we begin. The weight to the right foot, no weight in the left. Slide it across the floor, 1 foot, 1 shoulder width apart. Turn as you move across, stable and relaxed over the left. Turn back. Standing, so make sure you're still upright, make sure you're still relaxed, make sure you're still grounded and connected. Breathe in, lift. Hands up to the height of the shoulders. Release. All the releasing taking place together, finishing when the thumbs reach the thighs. Body's upright, stable and relaxed. Turn around that axis. Pass the weight to the left, sitting away from the right wrist. Turn the hips, all the weight on the left foot. Move in, holding the ball onto the right foot. The ball expands. Sink onto the right foot and turn to the corner. Step left, glide in, upright, 50-50, turn the hips and settle. Posture, board off left. Onto the left foot, step right, into the 50-50 posture. Turn to face 3 o'clock, settle into the posture, board off right. Turn to the corner as you sink onto the front foot. Stay on the front foot and come back facing 3 o'clock. Release and sit back. Roll back. Facing 3 o'clock, all the weight on the back foot, move into press, 50-50 posture, onto the front foot and press. Sit back, hands open at the back, move into the push position, 50-50 posture, onto the front foot and push. Leave the fingertips behind, all the weight glides back, upright and stable over the back foot, turn the hips. Turn back, drop the left hand, turn and lift the left, take a step with the left, move into the 50-50, facing 10:30, turn to 9 o'clock and settle into the posture of single whip. Hips, shoulders, head facing 9 o'clock. Move on to the left foot, drawing the toes, push out the heel, lifting hands. Drop the hands, turn back and fold at the elbow to the ear, left hand to the ear, step to the corner towards 10:30, shoulder stroke. Move on to the front foot, the right foot. Turning to face 9 o'clock, lift, bring in the toes of the left foot, sink and stabilize all the way to 100% on the right foot, sorry. White crane spreads wings, turn and chop. Turn the waist, drop the right, lift the left. Turn back and fold at the elbows, take a step with the left. Into the 50-50, brush left knee twister. Just take an adjustment step onto the left foot. Lift the hands onto the right foot. Play guitar. Turn open. Brush left knee. Twister. Sit back. Turn open to 8 o'clock. Move on to the left foot. Lift the knee and the hands. Turn to 11. Place the foot. Turn to 12 o'clock. Step. Left. Move in to the 50-50 posture. Facing 9 o'clock. Sink onto the front foot and punch. Turn to 8 o'clock. Sit back, facing 9 o'clock, move in for the push, sinking onto the front foot push, sit back, 100% on the right foot turn the left toes in, pass the weight to the left foot, 100%, drop the arms, lift the right foot, cross hands, turn the hands over, the hands glide down the outside of the ball, the weight's 50-50, turn open the left foot, walk onto the left foot, all the weight in the left, turn back, bring in the heel and lift to finish. Let's go from single whip, one more time, facing 9 o'clock, single whip. Posture of single whip, if you have a look, basics, shoulder width stance. Front foot forward, back foot out to the corner, hips square, center line in the middle between the feet. The body's upright, the hook, all the thumb, fingers touching the thumb at 90 degrees to the body, out to the side. The elbows slightly lower, 2 fingers lower than the shoulder and the wrist. So there's a slight drop of the elbow here, it's not like this. Like this. Front hand, 1 span from the body to the left elbow. Fingers at the height of the throat. The arm as if it's just resting on something, up and out at 45 degrees. So it's away from you at 45 degrees. It's up from the elbow at 45 degrees. Same posture as the push. Single whip, facing 9 o'clock. Trickle the weight forward onto the front foot. As you do, you can feel the heel of the right pick off the ground as it loses its weight. When you're on the front foot turn, pull in the toes, relax, push out the heel. As you finish, everything comes together. Relax, finish the posture. Posture of lifting hands. There's no weight in the right foot. The heel of the right foot is just touching. If you swing the right foot back, it just misses the left. All the weight is on the left. The hands are round. Fingers of the left looking into the forearm of the right. Center line, as if you're holding something.
Okay.
Is that a question? Somebody got a question there, because I don't think I put this on mute. Can I have a look at your postures of lifting hands? The hands should be open, so there's no closing of the hands. The hands are nice and open. Yeah, good, good. There's a nice roundness to the posture. Yeah, yeah. Fiona, your right hand slightly further forward, so it looks from the side. It looks more like this rather than this. Okay, you can imagine. No, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there with that one. It's too difficult to explain on Zoom. That's the posture of lifting hands. We're facing the front, 12 o'clock. Drop the hands and turn open. The right hand protects the groin, one fist away from the groin. The left one, same as always, comes up to the height of the shoulder, palm down. As we turn back, the arm folds in, one fist from the ear. So that movement open on as the hip turns open, folds as the hip turns back. Sorry, this hand's facing, drop the hands, turn open, turn back. Try not to make it happen with the arm. Try to make that movement happen with the hips. So you've got your balance, you've got your alignment. That's the thread around which you're going to turn. The hips turn one way and the hips turn back. That's actually quite a simple move, but difficult to do if you're tight in the body. So the muscles have to be relaxed. You have to allow the body to be soft, but not collapsed. Soft, but not heavy on the ground. Soft on the inside, so that you can turn around that thread. The hips turn, the shoulders turn. The hips turn back, the shoulders turn back. When the hips turn and the shoulders turn, the arm lifts. When the hips turn and the shoulders turn back, the arm folds. Only when the hips turn does the shoulder turn, does the arm lift. Only when the hips turn back does the shoulder turn back, does the arm fold. So the turning of the hips, if I do it fast, it's like when you throw a ball or when you play tennis. You turn one way, as you turn back, the power comes through. You turn your hips and the arm comes with it. But because we do Tai Chi slowly, you don't feel that. It's not as dynamic as if you were using your whole body to create the wave, to create the force through your hand, as if you're playing a racket sport or golf, where you turn your waist, your shoulders turn and the arms move with it. All the movement comes from the legs and the hips. Same in Tai Chi, it's exactly the same. We never move our arm independently. We always turn the waist. This is one of the key principles in Tai Chi, that the movement comes from the center of the body, from the legs to the center, and the whole body moves as one unit. And the hand is the last thing to move. The fingertips are like the tips of the whip or the tips of a scarf. When we flick a scarf, it's the hands are the last thing to move. So the hips start turning, the shoulders turn, the arm moves. The hips turn back, the shoulders turn back, the hand folds in. And you have to feel these things, not just to know them, but through the practice of repeating, looking at what we do, watching what we do, noticing with this mindful quality of the sensations of the body, finding how the body can move freely from one posture into the next. Shoulder stroke. Facing 10:30. Move on to the front foot. Again, turn the waist and open. And relax. Turn and chop, turning the waist to move the fingers, turning the waist to move the fingers, turning the waist back and folding the elbows, stepping and gliding in. Brush left knee, twist step. Drop onto the left foot, turning the waist, lifting the hands, and sinking 100% to the right. Play guitar. Turning the waist to move the arms, turning the waist back to fold the elbows, step, glide in. Brush left knee, twist step. Sit back. Notice I'm leaving the fingertip exactly where it was. The arm elongates because I'm sitting away from the fingertip, not because I push the arm out. It stays where it is and I sit back. I turn open the foot. I move towards the core. This is like I'm turning the waist, scooping, lifting, placing the heel, walking onto it. Keep turning. Step left. Going to move back a little bit away from the wall. Move in. Square. Drop onto the front foot and punch. Turn to 8 o'clock. Use the waist. Turn the waist. Pull the right arm through the left. I'm not pulling the arm away. I'm sitting the body back. And because the body is moving backwards, it pulls the right arm through the left. Through the knuckle joint, between the knuckle, between the thumb and the wrist. Hands lightly open at the back, move, they turn over, move in for a push. Sit back, turn the waist to move the right hand. Pass the weight to the left, all the weight's now on the left and the hands are wide open. Drop the hands, pick up the right foot, shoulder width. Turn the hands over, let them glide down the outside of the ball. Turn the left foot, walk onto it. Now I'm facing 10:30. Turn back to 12 o'clock. Draw the right heel in and lift up. Good. These are some of the key points. And when you practice, you have to remember the moves, you have to remember the accuracy of the moves. When you know a move well, try and look at what the waist is doing. Try and look at, can you coordinate your body from the center? Can you find the balance? And then when you've got the balance, can you find the coordination just to turn the body more and more smoothly? And these are ways of kind of like making what you do more and more subtle, more and more fluid, more and more balanced and connected, all the good things we want from Tai Chi. Has anyone got any thoughts or questions in that sequence? Yeah.
I just think that I'm falling into a bit of a bad habit of overstepping. So widening my positioning of my feet, so I'm always correcting because of it. And I think I've just got into the habit of doing it too much. And
Okay.
so it's about distance of where I'm stepping, you know, rather than
Sure.
sort of thinking, okay, it's in a square, it's so far. I understand there's a certain bow stance, but I'm doing it too far, so I'm always having to rectify.
Right. Okay. So I was talking to David about stepping recently. Stepping is a two-part. We've got two legs. Sounds obvious, but in order to step lightly with one, the other needs to hold your balance. Right. If, for example, you're holding on with one leg, it makes it very difficult to step lightly with the other one, because you need that grounding, you need that pivot point to keep. So when one is, we call it, being in Tai Chi, we call it substantial, solid, it contains all our weight, it's grounded, that enables the other one to be very light. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. If I go from the ward off left in the form, can you see both of my feet there?
Yeah.
I need to sink into the left foot and turn. When I'm very stable and I'm upright and I'm very relaxed over my left foot, it means that the turning is very easy and smooth, and it means that the right foot can step very lightly. If I'm holding on with my left and my left leg is tight, I'm not quite upright and I'm stiff here, then this foot is much stiffer to move. I've exaggerated what I do there. So I'm looking first for the stability, the uprightness and the relaxation in order to step.
Yeah.
And when I've got that, so the first thing is to be grounded, upright, stable, because that gives me the fulcrum, if you like, or the hinges around which to turn.
Yeah.
And then I can step lightly. Whereas if you haven't got that, you'll overreach or you'll do something that's too active with your other foot. Your other foot, you need to feel all the weight coming into your stable foot, your substantial, trickling the weight out of your insubstantial. And there's a moment where that balance just tips, where it's free to go exactly where you want to put it without any effort.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to find through practicing it and doing it in the form, but you look for it in each move. And it's worth slowing down each move. Every time you have to step, stopping the form at that moment and just repeating it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
right?
it's been helpful to do that. Yeah, you know, I'm sometimes not registering when that's happening, and I rectify it and then carry on instead of stopping at that point and thinking, okay, I need to do that bit again because like too far. Even though I'm grounded, I'm sort of, it's almost like I'm over anticipating something. So
yeah, so what happens is sometimes when we were thinking about the form and what comes next, that takes up too much of our hard drive and we can't be feeling what's going on, right? Yeah. So we need to try and, when the form becomes familiar, more and more familiar, and less takes thinking to do it, we've got more capacity then to feel more, right? So you need to have different ways of practicing. One way is just to go through the form. That will help you remember where things are and how they connect. Do this, do that, do that. Yes, got that right, got that right, got that right. But Tai Chi is about much more than just getting it right. It's about the feeling of the thing. And to get that, you need to practice in a different way. And to practice so you've got 5-minute block where you just go through the form, 5-minute block where you just practice your stepping and get into the feeling of what's it like to be upright. I've got that upright feeling from my standing posture. I've got that upright feeling. Can I transfer it to the right foot so that one's just free without having to wiggle or hold on or tighten anywhere? And you start exploring, right? So you start exploring what it means for you to be upright, to be relaxed, to be stable, when that point is, when that timing is, how easy it makes the other foot to step. And in that exploration, you get more and more kind of tuned into doing it in the form.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's really easy, I think, for everybody is to get into a habit of just practicing in one way, doing the form, doing the form, doing the form. But all of a sudden you need to kind of look at it from different angles and see that there are different ways you can different approaches to your what you do, so that it kind of opens it out for you and you see more what you're doing.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That does, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fiona, did you want to, was that a...
No, I was enjoying that. Thank you very much for asking that question. It was nice to hear the answer, Anne. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the things is we just need to give ourselves the space and the time. Practice is a precious thing for us. For us to give ourselves however long we can in a day, just to be with ourselves and to go slowly with ourselves and be with ourselves is really precious. And it's important. We're not taught to do that. We have to find it, and we have to give ourselves the permission. And it's not selfish and it's not greedy. It's just time for us to be with ourselves, and how we use that time is precious. So we don't just want to blast through it and get these moves right. We want the quality. So by the time the end of our practice session comes, I'm feeling much more myself now. Because I don't want there's more to Tai Chi than just getting the moves right. It's how we feel, how we are in ourselves, how confident, how comfortable, how present we are is what it's really all about. Yeah. Good. I'd like to show you the first loosening exercise. Let me just look at what time we've got. Yeah, 20 minutes or more. The 5 loosening exercises were invented by my teacher's teacher. When you get to be of a certain level, you can start inventing things in Tai Chi. If you're following the principles, you can invent exercises, you can change the movements of Tai Chi, and you can, what can you say? You're kind of allowed to, because you know what they're all about. I haven't got anywhere near being able to do that yet. Just as he's like a real top level master and is recognized throughout the world as such. And these 5 loosening exercises, they're not done by everybody who does Tai Chi. They're only really done by the people who follow this particular style of Tai Chi, which doesn't make them better or worse, but they're really important exercises because they very quickly start to show us what's going on the inside. So I'm just going to show you the first loosening exercise, and then join in with me in a bit and we can talk through what's going on. So it starts with the feet parallel. It starts with the body upright. The arms start at this position. They're at the height of the shoulders and they're out to the corners. All the joints are open. And this is the position they're going to return to every time I come back to this position. I start by moving onto my foot and turning to the corner. I turn back. I'm at the same starting position and I move across to the other foot. Turn back. That's all the exercise is, okay? I'm turning my hips as I move. I'm dropping my arms. When the arm is hanging vertically, I let it swing up from the elbow and the thumb comes to the center of the chest. The back hand just comes to the tail. Now my weight is on the left foot. I turn back. Now my weight is 50-50. Now my weight is on the right foot. So that's the simple place of where things are in space, where the weight is. And then we have to look at what are we trying to do in terms of principles while we do the exercise. So let's do it together. Bring your feet shoulder width. Shoulder width can be measured by 2 spans in the center of each foot on the middle toe. That's your shoulder width. Body's upright. The line of the body from the perineum through to the crown of the head stays upright. The movement is the turning of the hips, and the body moves with the hips across. Turning as you move. And if you look at it, it's exactly the same as the beginning movement of the form. In the form, we sink, we step left, and here's the first loosening exercise. We move across onto the left foot and we turn open to the corner. All the weight is 100% on the left foot. And as I move, I turn. As I arrive on the left foot, 100%, that's when my turning stops. That's what we're aiming for, to coordinate the body movements. This is a sinking movement. It's a relaxing and it's a stabilizing movement. It's not just moving across, because if you just move across and you don't change the muscles in your leg will be in the position it was in muscle-wise when you're in this position. And these muscles for this position are great. These muscles for this position are not great. The muscles inside the leg need to change to support your weight as it comes across. Your muscles are melting on the inside. You can visualize in the left leg drawing down through your leg to the ground and settling your weight into the foot. So it's like an egg timer. The muscles relax in the leg, the lower back softens, and the body melts and turns. You turn back, and you're 50-50 weight. You do exactly the same on the opposite side. Now, when you first do this exercise, it's quite difficult to get all your weight 100% across. So if you can get 70% of your weight across, that's great. You can get 70% into your foot, and then just the weight of this foot, just there, a little bit of weight in that foot. Over time, we'll get more and more weight into this leg. But there's one thing I want to show you, and I've got a little device here. This is my microphone stand. This knee, can you see if I just put the tip of the paper there on that knee? This knee mustn't collapse inwards when I move. I'll do it back here so you can definitely see my feet. When I turn and I move, that knee almost stays in place. What mustn't happen is this. It comes away from that paper as I move. Okay, that distance mustn't open up. It must stay where it is, because this is the stability of the knee and the structure of the knee that supports the weight of the body. The turning is the opening of the hip joint. The hip joint folds open to move. Same on this side, the knee mustn't collapse. The knee always goes in the same direction as the toes. There's never any difference between the knee and the toes. The knee always moves towards the toes. This hip and this hip stay level. You don't drop one hip, you don't lift the other hip, you don't drop one hip or push the hip out. The hips stay level and the body turns. Now, that's probably enough to try and get right in one go. Just to stay upright, and just to make sure the structure of the body doesn't collapse. As you move, you find yourself grounded, relaxed, and stable. Turn open and release. There are many, many principles overlapping in this exercise. And to work with them one at a time, and to build on what we've been working in all the other exercises in the form, is really how I want to introduce you to these loosening exercises. So the things we're working with: to stay upright in transition, stay upright as we move, to turn from the hips, try and find a nice sense of grounding or relaxation or stability in our movement. You will feel a pressure in your leg. The body is dropping onto the left leg, and you will feel the pressure in your leg, just like when a beach ball, the whole body pressing in, compressing into the foot, onto the knee, onto the hip, into the chest, onto the shoulders, the whole body compressing. You will feel that as a sensation. So even though the body's relaxing, when the body relaxes, you feel gravity pressing you in. And it can feel similar to being tight in the body, or similar to the muscles contracting. But you have to figure out when the muscles are tight and holding, what that feels like. When the body is pressing into itself, what that feels like. And to know the difference. So you know when your muscles are holding on, and you know when your muscles are releasing. Everything is changing. The whole body is fluid and changing, not just in its movement, but in its release. And the sensations of melting down through the leg, just like sand trickling down through an egg timer, is what we're trying to find. The whole leg releases to allow the body to settle onto it. The whole chest softens as the shoulders drop and the arms drop. The whole body lets go. Rebounds to the 50-50 and releases. Rebounds and releases. Okay, I'm going to see if you're getting on okay with that. Just going to check on the time we've got. We've got a few minutes. I'm going to look at what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to give some, can I give some pointers to you? When the arms lift, just the height of the shoulders only. So the back of the wrists lift up to the height of the shoulders. It's the same as the beginning of the form. When the hands lift, just the height of the shoulders. Don't let them come up here. When the hands drop, don't let them come, don't be held onto the arms. Let them fully drop, like a pendulum from the shoulder joint. So when you drop the arms, at this point here, that arm can't get any lower. It's at its lowest point. And from there, it just swings up. So don't do this one where you move the arm and hold on. This is holding on. You have to let go of the arms and then let them swing up. Let the elbow go as low as it can get and then let the forearm swing up. Drop the arms completely by the sides. Let them open up. Drop the arms completely and let them open up. And I know when you're thinking about the hips turning, when you're thinking about your upright posture, there isn't much capacity left to get the arms right. I know that, but first go for accuracy in the movement. Try and get the movement as accurate, so the hands are in the right place, the body's in the right place, the structure of the body's right, and then you can go into the sensations with the accuracy. Great. Has anyone got any questions or about it? What, any sensations in your body you're not used to or anything?
You're on mute.
No, I can hear you, Fiona.
I was just thinking about the breathing. So
Yeah.
I think it's out, is it?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Yeah,
then...
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We with this particular one, we don't pay much focus on the breathing, mainly because when the body relaxes, when the whole chest softens, when the muscles of the body release, you will breathe out. When the muscles lift, you will breathe in, because the breathing is just like a bellows. Active is the muscles opening your chest up, breathe it, the air's drawn in. Relaxing, you'll breathe out. So if you can get the muscles changing right, the breath's going to follow your muscle changes.
Yeah, it's
some of the exercises we definitely work with the breathing, because the breathing triggers a different response in our nervous system and helps us calm down. But for this one in particular, there's enough going on not to have to worry too much about the breathing. Yeah, Anne.
When you lift the arms up, do you? I know you sort of you rise up with your body when you're moving, but does it initially come from your shoulders rather than your arms when you're lifting?
The shoulders stay seated.
Yeah.
It's as if a wave is going along your arm. So when I do the first movement of the form here, the shoulders are actually sinking, and it's as if a wave is going along the arm.
Okay.
Right. So I don't want to do this. Can you see the difference? I don't want to throw my shoulder up.
Yeah.
Don't want this happening here, because this is disconnected. I want to relax my shoulder girdle, keep my shoulders connected while the wave passes through.
It's okay.
Okay, so if you think of those, you know, I use this example quite a lot. Those balls hanging on a thread, those 5 balls hanging on a thread, Newton's cradle, I think they're called. When one ball drops, the kinetic energy goes through the other balls and the one on the end lifts. Do you know those toys?
Yeah.
The balls have to be touching for that to work. The balls have to be relaxed and hanging on the string for the force to go through. So our shoulders, the muscles that hold the shoulders, if they're tight or lifting or contracting, that force doesn't go through. So the shoulder is like one of those balls. It's loose, it's relaxed, and it's connected, and the movement goes through.
Okay.
Okay. So try not to lift the shoulders like this. Try just to let the wrists lift lightly and see what happens. Because that's the movement in all the movements of the form. It's exactly the same, whether I'm starting at the beginning of the form here and sinking, whether I'm turning open in this position here, the arm moves in the same way. And if we can get the way the arms move in this exercise and understand that movement, then we can put that into all the movements of the form.
Quick question, Luke.
Yeah, David.
But the foot without the weight in, does that broadly remain pointing forward, but just weightless?
Yeah, what you'll find is there's a tendency, when I move on to my left foot, there's a tendency for this foot to move.
Yeah.
Because of the muscles staying tight in this leg, when my right hip turns, it'll pull my foot.
Yeah.
What we want to try and do is relax the muscles in the right leg when I'm sinking onto the left. So one leg becomes substantial and stable, and the other becomes insubstantial, and the muscles inside that leg, even though my hips are turning away from the foot, it's getting longer between my foot and my hip, the muscles soften and allow that to happen. So there's no movement of the foot at all. The leg just stretches away. The muscles in the leg elongate as they soften the muscles, which allows them to elongate as my hip moves away from my right foot.
Okay.
So one foot's becoming stable, one foot's becoming very light.
Yeah.
And that's changing over smoothly from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. And the answer to it is in the practice of it.
Right.
Right. You with Tai Chi, you get to know what to do from a lesson or from your teacher or from watching video or however, you get to know what to do, but then making that happen is what the practice is all about. Listening in and having that kind of having that inquiry. God, why does that sound so easy to do and yet so bloody difficult? Is the inquiry of Tai Chi. If you can find the right way in, these things are really interesting, because you get to realize that for all your life, you've been carrying around the stuff in your shoulders that you don't need, or your lower back, or where, you know, we're finding out about ourselves as we move.
Yeah.
Great. Good. We've got 3 minutes. So if there's any other questions, because what I'd like, if you want to, is for you to practice that first loosening exercise. And then each week we'll kind of check in with each other, see how we're doing with it. And I'd like to start adding the other exercises as well. So we've got a nice block of 5 loosening exercises we can do. They're all challenging. I don't normally teach them right at the beginning to complete beginners, but I think at where you're at, you're ready to learn these exercises. So I want to share them because they'll really speed up your understanding of what goes on the inside. They're good for people who have got like a daily kind of little bit of practice going on for themselves and can start to see a kind of a bit of a momentum in what they're doing. If you just practice once a week, it won't really help. But a little bit every day, a few minutes every day, the body starts getting used to the sensations of releasing, starts getting used to a different quality of resting in itself, and that becomes more and more familiar. Kind of trying to sell it here, but I don't think I need to. Great. Good.
Look,
So,
can I ask you one thing?
Yeah, sure.
You said that these exercises, you know, aren't sort of universal, that they were invented by your teacher's teachers. What was his name that invented them?
I'll send you a link and I'll send you a video of him doing them.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then you kind of get to know. If I say his name, Huang Shen Sayang, you won't mean much. But if I send you a link to Master Huang, you'll get to see how he does the exercises. How he does them a lot faster than we do.
Okay.
You'll get to see what's going on for yourself.
Okay.
There's some really nice footage out there. He died in the either the late 1980s or early 90s. He passed away. And then my both of my teachers, Patrick Kelly and Wiki Jin, both studied with him intensively. So we're kind of, you know, we call it a lineage really, because there's a continuation without it being diluted by another system or another way of working. There's a kind of a direct thing, which is why it works.
Right.
Yeah. Great. Good. We're going to have to leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you very
If there's,
much.
yeah, great. Any questions, just email me or whatever during the week. And
Thank
yeah, I hope you get on with those. If your knees hurt when you do it, right, just be really careful that you're not losing your knee and your foot alignment in the first loosening exercise. And if your knees do ache doing it, just give it a bit of a rest. Don't do it so much. Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Linda.
Bye-bye.
Really
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.